Tenon time! Last time I finished the mortises on the table legs, and now the time has come to make the tenons on the skirting boards, or apron boards, whatever you want to call them. I think it's just two terms for the same thing, really. And also cut them to their final length, which I haven't done yet either. So I'm gonna check the measurements on my drawing, or it's more like a sketch than a drawing, really. The length and the width of the base measured from the outside of the legs will be 1150 by 650 millimeters. But the tenons will only go about halfway into the legs, and the legs are 65 by 65, so they go in 30. So there's 35 millimeters left that I have to take away from the measurements of the skirting boards, which is 35 on each side, a total of 70 millimeters. So instead of 1150 for the long one, I get 1080, and for the short one, instead of 650, I get 580. And then in the end I might trim off a little bit on each tenon, so it's not too tight inside of the mortise when I put it together. cut well outside of my scribe lines, if that was visible in the footage. And that's because there are small variations between the individual mortises, and I want to be able to trim down the width of the tenon individually. So I left about 0.5 millimeter on each side outside of the measurements. Anyway, I'm gonna cut the waist off here along that scribe line. Then I'm gonna start fitting the tenons to the mortises. That's the tenons for the short skirting boards. So I have 2 pairs of legs here now, which makes it sort of possible to already start to envision the finished table a little bit. They are a bit high now because I haven't cut the legs to their final length yet. I'll do that later. Next step is to finish the tenons on the long skirting boards and fit them into their mortises. Maybe you noticed that there was a consistent gap of a millimeter or so between the shoulder of the tenon and the table leg. And as I described earlier, that's because I intend to trim off the length of the tenon a millimeter or two after I made them, to make them fit snugly inside of the mortises. So that's the next step. There you have it, the main construction of the table base. The joints are tighter now after I trimmed off the tenons, as I expected them to be. Maybe I'll have to clear out a little bit in the bottom of one or two mortises still, but that's no big deal. Now, when I planned the project, I put in 2 more wood pieces across like this to give the marble top some extra support if something heavy would fall on top of it, but now that I see it this far, I'm not really sure it would need it. But since I planned it, I will make them anyway, and I will put them in here with the help of dovetail joints, and I think that could be a little bit of fun to make them, so that's one of the reasons. And I also have the pieces prepared and ready, so why not use them? But that will not happen today, because now it's getting late and this is a good place to stop after finishing the mortise and tenons. So if you want to see how I do that, you'll just have to wait for the next video. If you enjoyed this one, give me a thumbs up. If you're not already subscribed, consider doing so, it helps me out a lot. And please share my videos with your friends. Bring more people to my channel, it's also a great help. Anyway, thanks for watching, see you next time.